Hello and welcome to another one of my videos. In today's video I'm going to be talking about sovereigns. Yay, go sovereigns. Now, anyone who buys gold knows about sovereigns. Anyone who watches my videos knows I like to talk about kind of the market mechanisms for dealing with such coins. Now you notice, or at least I've noticed, there's a phenomenon recently concerning the different types of sovereigns. So if we break it down, really, you've got your bullion, your semi-numismatic, and your numismatic plays, and they can cross over each types. So the types would be your just bog standard sovereigns, your shield sovereigns, which is a combination play, and you've also got your proof sovereigns, which, believe it or not, can run into all three sections. Now, currently, what you're seeing is where there's a lack of liquidity, the spreads they're starting to thin out. And I know there's going to be people who say, "Oh, I buy sovereigns for the long term," and great, good for you. You know, if you're in that position where you can consistently buy, and the world's kind of falling down around you, you're actually doing well in life. Like, and fantastic. You know what? Why would anyone be bummed out about that? But for people who are thinking about the risk at the time when they should sell, and this is something where I like to emphasize on my channel, there's always risks and rewards. Now's a very interesting time for sovereigns. So your bullion sovereigns are going for not a lot of money over spot. Your shield sovereigns, they've gotten cheaper, and your proof sovereigns, they've gotten cheaper. They've gotten really cheaper. So if you can consistently buy, which one should you be buying? It depends on your risk profile. It depends on what you got coming in, your job security. It depends on your time frames. You know, if you want to sell in a couple of years, probably shouldn't be buying gold. But some people buy gold for reasons other than investment. Some people use it as kind of a block on spending. So they buy a sovereign in, they might have a gambling addiction. I've met with countless people who said to me, and I actually made a point about it a few years back. A gentleman would say to me, "I want this," and he'd sell it a few months down the line and he'd take a loss. And I said to him, I was like, "What's that about, mate? Like, you're just throwing your money away." And he said, "I got issue with Coke." He was honest about it. You know, everyone's got their crosses to bear. He was just like, "I buy sovereigns so I don't put it up my nose." Some people like drinking, some people like gambling, etc., etc. Some people like shopping. It's not for me to judge people's rationales for what they buy and sell. But people like that, it doesn't really matter. You buy the thing that's going to lose you the least amount of money. There's no problem with that. Now, in this market, if you can hold on to your coins for a relatively longer amount of time, say 3 years or 5 years or 10 years, depending on the time frame of how long you can hold, depends on what type of sovereign you should buy. Now, I saw a load of. Also, let's actually talk about this as well. Let's distinguish a proof from a proof. So, and I'm not meaning your graded coins. Graded coins do come into it, but I'm meaning the types of proof. So, or the year variety of proof. If you're buying proofs from the 80s, some of them are just common. They're super common. They're not really worth much over spot. You get into the 90s, early 2000s, you know, and then the later 2000s, that's where the prices start getting pushed by the mint. So the mint was kind of saying, we can make more money here. So certain types of proofs are worth more than other types of proofs, or certain years of proofs are worth more than other years of proofs. And you're going to notice that. There was someone who brought it up the other day about the memorial sovereigns, because I did mention it, and he said, "I don't think it's a great investment compared to the earlier years." That's just a market mechanism changing the prices. So the earlier years, you go back to 1990, grand year, amazing year. Some of you will get that joke. Those coins in PF70 are very few and far between. 91, 92, 93, 94, 95. You know, they're hard to find sovereigns. The late 80s, again, they're harder to find. And obviously with the 89, that goes for big money because it's the first of the big. It used to be a big 5, big 6, big 7. You know, the more they put out, the more it's going to diminish over time. You always had that standard with the 89 though, because they're not making any more. And the ones that haven't been graded, most of them don't grade that well. So if you've got a 70, the price is always going to be, if you've got a 70 in, say, the 90s, the price is going to be higher. word on the street. Now, I haven't checked this myself, but someone was saying online that a few of them went at auction for like £2,000 a coin. I'm not shocked at that. I'm really not shocked. But what I'm seeing on the groups at the moment is the ungraded stuff. The graded stuff wasn't really the focus of the video, but the ungraded stuff, you're starting to see some of these rarer sovs rear their heads, and they're cheaper. I think I saw one earlier go for, I think it was 440. So I think the typical sovereign's going for 380 at the moment. £60 over. If you can hold it 3, 5, 10 years, you go for that proof sovereign every day of the week. If you were selling that proof sovereign now, I wouldn't want to be the one selling it. But if you can hold it, you buy that. If you have to sell it quickly, you go for the bullion sovereign. But the spreads between the three different types of sovereigns, they're starting to narrow, and they will get wider. And I'll tell you why they're going to get wider. Over the years, I talk a lot about there's levels in dealing. The very top of the market, they're not stupid. The reason they're at the top of the market is not because they were given £1 million and they've gone on a spending spree. It's because they know what the good money is. I think it's called Gresham's law. Good money flushes out bad money. Now, if it's a choice between a sovereign, just a bullion sovereign, a shield sovereign, and a proof sovereign, and they're the same price, you're going to take the better coin. You always will. And when the spreads get thinner, so when it goes like this, this is a stamp, by the way, I'm just playing with it. When the spread goes like this, you're going to have the people with the excess liquidity, and they're going to start taking it off the market. And you're going to see, if you go onto social media, if you go onto Facebook, you're going to see some of the traders, and I've seen it myself, they're going to start buying this stock. They got more money. Maybe they got a client abroad, or maybe that's going into the reserve. But if I had excess money, I know what I'd be buying because it's cheap at the moment. The shield sovereigns, they're cheap at the moment. I've seen some of them £20, £30 over. They are coming down. Whether or not the dealers, the bigger dealers, the ones at the very top, are buying them is another matter. I don't know. I haven't seen that personally, but I have seen them on the market. Now, I know of dealers because I've dealt with a lot of dealers over the course of the years that I've been doing this. They buy shield sovereigns and they do not give a shit if they sell them. They don't care because they know it's going to be worth moving forward. Now, if the spread, or if the variance has kind of got thinner, it's worth their time to buy these up. If you're a dealer, you're not in the market for a year or 2 years or 3 years. That's your career. You're doing it until you retire, or at least that's what you hope. And these dealers, they will buy these things up knowing full well, give it 5, 10 years, they're going to make a killing. Normal sovereigns come and go. Shield sovereigns, slightly harder. The harder to find proof sovereigns, such as the 1990s, they go in the reserve. They're getting forgotten about. They're getting graded. They're getting moved up the value scale. Now, if I was a dealer and I had excess money and I'm seeing the rarer ones and it looks good, essentially what I'm doing is I'm buying it, taking it off the market, sending it for grading, moving up the value curve and getting rid of it. That is the best scenario because then you can put the money back into other coins. I've got to find those coins first. It's not as simple. I don't spend a lot of time online these days scouting for coins. One, I can't be bothered. It's a very tedious thing for me. Two, I don't have the liquidity because I put a lot of money into the stamp side of my business, which is fair enough. It's kind of a more liquid proposition and it's easier to cash flow MVI stamps, so no value indicated stamps, than it is to cash flow gold in terms of moving forward. And thirdly, don't think there is a third reason. I think I've covered it on both bases. So yeah, to answer that question, what sovereign should you buy? How long can you hold? And how wide is the spread? It's different for every individual that watches this video. Some will be like, oh, I'm not buying sovereigns. I don't see them as a good investment. Maybe you're in the States, etc. Some people are like, I want shields. I think shields are cheap. Yeah, they are. And some people are like, no, I'm going for proofs all day. Some people, they just stick with the bullion sovereign, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's up to you as an individual to kind of stress test your finances and to work out where you're going, what your goals are. But if it was me and I'm getting offered these finer proofs or these shield sovereigns, I'd be buying them if I had the excess liquidity. I don't have the excess liquidity because other reasons. It's nothing to do with the coin business. It's more to do with my personal circumstances and wanting to clear debt. But I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope it makes sense. If it doesn't, I'm more than happy to answer questions about this. So, take care, guys.